Good evening and welcome to the Cover One Buffalo podcast. You are joining your host, Greg Tompsett, along with my undefeated partner in crime, Aaron Quinn. How we doing?
Dude, good. We all knew this was going to go exactly like this all week long, right? Definitely don't watch back at the matchup show this week where we got a little nervous from that Jets week 1, but holy cow. Greg, for the people that don't know why they're joining us here on the internet to talk about this one, tell the people why we're here. What are we doing?
You are joining because the Buffalo Bills have defeated the New York Jets 30-3. Don't read that it says 10 points. That garbage time touchdown from Tyrod doesn't count. He plays for the Bills. The Bills have defeated the New York Jets in an absolutely dominating game. Into the fourth quarter with Justin Fields, the Bills defense allowed a net 8 passing yards on the game. They had 27 yards passing with 19 yards lost on sacks for a net 8 passing yards. And even until the late kind of giveaway drive, they didn't go over 100 yards rushing until very, very late into the game. This was one of the most dominant defensive performances I can remember in a long, long time. Ended up technically as 403 total yards for the Bills to 154 total yards for the Jets. Again, until that kind of garbage time drive, they had 5 first downs. Just an utterly dominant performance, and good enough on offense. Not a historically great offensive performance. Some really nice rushing, good enough, but they put up 30 points and just absolutely destroyed the Jets.
Yeah, I think they did what they wanted to offensively a little bit too. And just like this is what they wanted to go up and do against the Ravens too, where you just methodically control this game and get your way out of it. I tweeted at one point, I think Tony Romo was trying to gaslight us for a while that this game was like still like the win probability was whatever. I get the Bills flipped the win probability a week ago, but this isn't Ravens Bills, right? Yeah. This is a team that like struggled to get 50 yards in the first half.
At one point, he literally said, the Jets are controlling this game and allowing the Bills to be in the lead. Right. It was 20-0 at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he leaned way too hard into the idea that the Jets were beating themselves. When he was saying that a lot, the both teams had like 4 penalties. They definitely put the ball on the ground, but like Bosa punched the ball out. Like it wasn't the Jets just like slipping the ball out.
They didn't just fall and drop it. Like,
you don't beat a team in the fashion that we saw today if it's just like, oh, the team beating themselves. And you know what? I'm also not going to take away credit from a team, because we said that about teams like the New England Patriots for 20 years, where it was like, oh, the Bills are beating themselves. And it's like, well, no, the Bills are playing scared because they're playing a really good team and they're making mistakes. And the really good team doesn't make mistakes. So that's why it looks like they're beating themselves. But the Bills just came out and did what you're supposed to do. You handle business in an environment like this. But the defense, man, that's going to be some fun tape to watch through. The problem here this early in the year, Greg, is like that sample size, right? Like Jets look really good week 1. Yeah. They probably came back down to earth of like closer to what they're probably going to look like here the rest of the year. But I'm going to have fun with that defensive tape. But before we go too much further, Greg, I sent you a text of a tweet. You're better at pulling this stuff up. I want the viewers to see this dog on the picture here. What a cool picture. Josh Allen, this game, gets his nose punched on a run attempt there and ends up busting his nose, bleeding everywhere, running off the field. But the Bills posted this. He is a football guy, dude. We talk about it all the time. I think I texted you during like soon after this and been like, dude, he's so tough. I probably would have quit like right there. That would have been game over for me.
My stuff up and gone home.
Yeah, take the ball. Like, no, we're not playing anymore. I'm going home. Dude's just incredible and just kind of the epitome of this game. Like, it wasn't pretty. Looked like you kind of caught a bloody nose, but the other guy looks a lot worse at the end of this game, even though the stats, for Josh don't jump off the table.
Of course, the bloody nose had to come from a shot from Clemens.
Oh, dude.
Just constant, pain in our side for this team. But yeah, just a fantastic performance. Not the stereotypical Josh Allen box score. Ended up 14-25 for 148 yards. Ran 6 times for 59 yards. Technically had a sack. It was on a 1-yard scramble or a 1-yard loss on a scramble. That so not his normal dominant performance, but again, controlling the game, completely, just doing what he needed to. They never had to really open it up or turn it on for anything more dramatic than what was needed. But they did end up running 43 times for 224 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. James Cook ended up 21 for 132 and 2 touchdowns. And I loved the petty revenge touchdown for Elijah Moore late. I like that it seemed pretty intentional that Joe Brady was trying to get him a good red zone touch.
Yeah, no, and the run game too with the explosives. You had Josh Allen had a 40, Cook also had a 40-yarder. So you got some explosives out of there too. And so, yeah, it wasn't like a gaudy, sexy stat sheet, but I think the guys that you needed to do just enough did it when you needed something. Josh Allen, whether Josh Allen making plays with his legs or extending plays, it never felt at any point like they were overexerting themselves to get what they needed out of this game. And even Romo threw some questions out there on some of the ones where they just came down and took the 3. I think at the start of the second half, they just came down and took that 3. I'm sure there's arguments over what they should do in that 3rd and 4 or whatever on 4th and 3 if they should go for it. And they just felt like a team that knew we just got to get at it. Like, keep running the ball, run some time off the clock, don't turn the ball over. Let's just get out of here. Justin Fields can't throw a forward pass against our defense. They're like, what were you worried about at any point? So I think it just played into the hands. You made enough plays in the moments you needed to. And outside of Dawson Knox having a couple dropsies on the day offensively, I felt good. Again, not a big fantasy day for anyone, probably but James Cook, but I felt pretty good about the state of the offense and the guys doing the things that they're supposed to be doing that I want to see out of them.
Yeah, 100%. And we never know what the offensive game plan might have looked like if they weren't up by 3 scores so quickly. But when you're up 20-0 pretty early into the game, that's a tough spot to be in from a stat standpoint
for guys like us. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there were no great receiving performances today because we didn't need it.
No.
Kincaid at 4 for 37, Palmer 2 for 47, couple critical plays in big moments when they need it.
Palmer, the big one from Trubisky. That was a great.
Yeah. Honestly, that was a really big. That was a
big play.
The game was still technically in question. Like, it wasn't all the way put away. It was 20-3. Some weird fluky stuff could happen.
And honestly, my gut was like wrenched right there because the way Josh ran off, like,
you could tell he knew something was wrong. Something. Yeah.
Yes.
So being in that kind of spot, like, there was a little uneasiness, and to have Trubisky come back clutch there, let him run another handoff or 2, the quarter comes to an end, and then they're able to obviously bring Josh back, and it was calming and a lot of exhaling all around Bills Mafia to be in that spot. I didn't bring it up yet because I wanted to go through some of the offense. On the defensive side, this was the welcome to Bills Mafia game for Joey Bosa. Just an absolutely dominant performance, constantly in the backfield, collapsing, pushing the tackle back right into Justin Fields' lap. Ended up with, I can't wait to see how many pressures they end up crediting him with, but has a strip sack, has a big time tackle for a loss, has a couple other pressures that he directly led to the Gregory Rousseau Zion Logue shared sack. Just a really, really powerful performance, to the point where I was like yelling at my phone to get him out of the game. Like, I didn't like that he came back in and had more snaps later on. I would have much preferred that he came out of the game early, but I thought everybody on defense played pretty well. There wasn't a lot to be seen there. Cole Bishop had a sack late, and it got called for a late hit later on in the game that he had a little too much energy. But overall, Daquan Jones ended up playing well. I certainly was not alone in being nervous about losing Ed Oliver and already having the other 2 D linemen out on suspension and Dwayne Carter out for the season. So just the depth being tested. I thought Zion Logue, TJ Sanders, and Deion Walker all, kind of not celebratory. It wasn't like some dominant game from them. Most of the bigger snaps came from the defensive ends, but the fact that they didn't allow the Jets to get their at least dangerous run game. I don't think they have much of a pass game to worry about, and that let us move up towards the line of scrimmage, but they didn't let that run game get going. And I really credit for those defensive linemen keeping the linebackers clean, letting people flow. And even though they weren't making big plays, I thought that not giving up those dangerous runs was a credit to them.
Yeah. Bosa, we'll start there. I am like almost ready to take my full L there. I watched a lot of tape, and I was in disagreement with who I thought the ceiling for him could be because I hadn't seen it. And people pointed to a couple games, and I think this game that we saw from him today, when we watch it back, will be much better than anything we saw from him in the last 2 years, even at his higher end, and some of the games that we saw. So that is like crazy encouraging. And also when you put it in the situation that they've been thrown into, I don't think necessarily their plan was for him to play this type of snap load this early in the season. And he's showing that he can not only play at a high level, but do it on a high level of snaps. Also super encouraging. But to your point, making me a little nervous there at the end, not just him, but like I saw Groot run back in there a couple times. Like, all right, dude, like, all right, you know, how high do you need the win probability to like start getting some of these guys out? But I guess that a little bit of the problem is another kind of talking point you mentioned on this defensive line was the injury to Ed Oliver, some of the depth, the issues with the suspensions. You don't have as much probably leeway in these late game situations as us as fans would probably like when you only have 4 defensive ends and when you only, and you're giving up long extended drives to a Tyrod Taylor led offense because you don't care and you're bleeding out the clock, but that's real reps that some guy has to come in and play. That would be nice for Landon Jackson to do whatever he needs to do to make the active roster for a situation like that. So we could sit Bosa or give him the rest when we need it. But right now the early return signs here in September look very good, very high end, good for Bosa. I expect his PRP and things like that are going to be off the charts here this week. I hope he can extend that. I hope they can start to lean off of needing him so much as part of this rotation, and Landon Jackson can do what he needs to do to maybe get on the roster and be a game day active so they can take some of that load off Bosa. Because I want the Joey Bosa I just saw today, dude. Give me that guy in January. And I think this team's doing this to a lot of good teams where they're just in total control of the game.
The remaining the Bills had kind of a laugher. The 1 o'clock games, producer Collins,
dude, these are crazy.
Are going
I'm watching
bonkers. Russell Wilson threw a moonball touchdown to Malik Neighbors, only to have the Cowboys just come back, and Brandon Aubrey just hit a 64-yard field goal to send it to overtime.
Yes.
Is a really intelligent comment here.
Some of the pressures that we saw here late in games that like big playmakers are just making. Yeah. So I apologize if I'm looking up. I am still listening to you, Greg, but these games are going down to the wire here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Football ABCs, Allen, Bosa, and Cook, go sure. Bills.
So that's what you need sometimes to win. Like you need those higher end guys that are the names on your roster to step up and have big days, even when it's not a great game. Like that really is as easy as that. Those guys won the kind of game for the Bills in this one.
Yeah. And again, that's just the kind of game this was. They didn't need to do anything more than that, and they obviously would have had more available to them in the game plan if those things were needed in a more back and forth game.
Speaking of a game plan scenario, though, hats off to like Babbage. You knew the Jets wanted to come out and run on first down, and they caught him multiple times with run blitzes, stuff, and like if you're going to be predictable
from
like
each
that,
side, not normally Trey White's strength, and it came up with a couple big ones.
Absolutely, and we not that Ben Johnson's calling plays, but that Detroit lineage, we saw that against Detroit a year ago, right? Like coming out, you knew a team wanted to come and run the ball on you. So if you're going to have those kind of tendencies, Babbage is going to call on that and get very aggressive, which is nice to see. The Bills have that aggressive side to them when they see it as a benefit in the matchup.
From a special team standpoint, really nice game there because I was a little bit anxious. Now, adding into the fact that Matt Prater just showed up last Thursday, but he started out with Brad Robbins as the holder. Right. And I heard a really funny comment from Reed Ferguson, a friend of the show. Reed is always great. He said in like a 10-day span, he went from the oldest guy in the room to the youngest guy in the room because Bass goes on IR, living. So they bring in Matt Prater. Then we cut Brad Robbins and bring in Cameron Johnston. Cameron Johnston, great today. 2 punts downed inside the 20, out of bounds, no returns. Ended up with another solid one that was there. Matt Prater, 6 for 6 on his kicks, 3 for 3 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. So obviously no concerns with the holds there. didn't give up anything of concern from a
Yo,
return standpoint.
sneaky good. Sam Franklin Jr. looks nice on special teams.
Yes,
Like and his
yes.
size and athleticism really stands out to me on special teams. And I don't often watch special teams reps, but I think last week a couple stood out to me too. And I've got
He's going to keep
many
that 53
notes.
man roster spot.
I've got like 3 or 4 notes of his play that I'm going to go watch back because he's right there, man. And if the Bills kind of unlocked a nice little special teams weapon, kind of a late addition to the team in the season, that's a great pickup for Bean.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. Also, Keontae Jenkins came up with a couple nice plays when he came up. That was I think they were just being cautious with Shaq Thompson and sitting him because he had a late hamstring ding in practice, and then to have Keontae Jenkins come in and be able to take those special team snaps, just really
Zion Logue having some good reps. I think that's also sneaky a really good thing early in the season to put on tape and show. I guarantee you in the film room tomorrow, they're going to call out all these practice squad guys that had big plays and encourage everyone else. It keeps everybody in that practice squad like, hey, any week could be your week. And you have a deep practice squad. I think that's great for the culture. And Sean McDermott's definitely taking that as a win here this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they showed that in the last episode of Hard Knocks, him talking about how critical those positions are and how your job is to keep everybody ready and then to be ready to step in, and you're spot on. They're absolutely going to call out all of those different pieces. And we got a couple questions in the chat, so let us know on the post-game pressers or things like that.
Say that all the time. What's up, chat?
What's up, chat? I know a couple questions on the injuries. I know Matt Milano didn't come back in the second half. They were up by quite a bit. He had his helmet on and was there with the guys rotating in. So I'm assuming
see anything.
Yeah, there was enough for him not to go back in, but I don't know that I'm concerned per se. And then the same idea with the other direction in, Cam Lewis got rolled into late on a play that I think Tara Taylor kind of rolled back into him again. He kind of limped off a little bit. So let's keep an eye on that. If anybody gets any injury updates, haven't heard anything on either of those guys, but
I'm looking now.
Certainly encouraging.
Yep. Same. Yeah. Let us know always in these shows. Producer Colin's kind of keeping an eye on this chat for us, and as well keeping an eye on things in the press conference stuff. But we also rely on you guys as fans here. We're live and trying to stay focused on doing this show. So yeah, anytime any rumors, injuries, anything like that, feel free to drop it in the chat and you'll get up here with us. We'll pull you up and talk to us.
I'm getting a call real quick here from our correspondent in Buffalo.
Buffalo Bills going undefeated, and we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah,
You're stealing my bet. You stole my bit, but with a phone. That was a good.
I did. Good touch. I won't lie. I just wanted an excuse to use my '80s Sports Illustrated football phone.
Yeah, it's cute
on the show. It's gonna be a recurring bit.
All right, I like it.
All right. So let's kind of flip through how this game got out of hand here. Multiple options for our friends over at West Herr for the West Herr drive of the game, but I've got one in mind. And I'm going to cheat and I'm going to go to it right off the bat. And it's the opening combo of this game, with the rightful anxiety. You guys were great. Shout out to Colin for filling in for me on Wednesday night. And obviously Connor is always fantastic. You were surrounded by amazing hair on that show on Wednesday night. The reason there was anxiety is, the Jets did kind of look a little bit like a Ravens light. Like they're obviously not to that level, but really dangerous rushing quarterback, really dangerous run game with a combo of talented running backs. And they're not Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, but they put up a ton of yards on what I thought was a pretty respectable Steelers defense. Now, them getting smacked around a little bit by Seattle today. Maybe
I was going to say, maybe that's us scouting the helmet a little bit, like maybe, the legacy.
Maybe puts a little of last week in context. Us smacking around the Jets and the Seahawks smacking around the Steelers. Maybe that game wasn't as the
sample sizes will settle a lot of what we think. Yeah.
But the way that they opened up today, I think having that anxiety, the fact that they come right in, you touched on it immediately where they had, a quick stop with Breece Hall, stent Milano threw on the run blitz right off the bat. He immediately sniffed it out, and then breaking up the pass to Garrett Wilson, you get a 3 and out where they lose a yard and don't give up anything there. and they flip it right around with not only a 12-play, 81-yard touchdown drive, but take 6 minutes off the clock. You're like halfway through the quarter, and we deferred, and we've just dominated the first half of the first quarter. You had Josh's 40-yard run, but the rest of it was just kind of incremental movement down the field. We got a couple penalty calls that obviously helped the team. Josh getting hit in the helmet on the one, and
some people that was no flop. I thought when I thought we were going to see the replay and see like a Josh flop, that was just a really stupid play by Clemens.
Yeah, like Clemens again. Yeah, Clemens was dumb.
He's that guy for the Jets that must drive that fan base totally nuts.
You could see Aaron Glenn reaming him out on the sideline. Like, what is wrong with you?
Why would you
cannot do that? That's such a dumb play. But that kind of drive where besides Josh's crazy scramble, it was just 4-yard pass, 4-yard run, 1-yard run, 4-yard run, 3-yard run, 8-yard run, 6-yard run, 1-yard run. Like, just to be able to go through and shove it down their throat like that, to be able to have a dominant drive. That was my West Herr drive of the game, because it just completely flipped. That we were able to kick off, we were able to get an immediate 3-and-out and an immediate touchdown drive, knowing that we're still going to get the ball in the second half there. That's the kind of performance that immediately sets the tone of like, hey, this isn't, you guys aren't going to be able to pretend to have something here. We are under control. We are the dominant team here, and immediately set that tone.
Yeah, what I liked about I like this as a pick. It's not my pick, so there will be another West Herr drive of the game coming.
Good for West Herr.
It's great. It's honestly really nice for them, because this was that kind of day. What I think is nice about this, though, two things. One, you kind of talked about it. That 14 plays, 6 minutes. That's how the day went, right? Like, you go add up all these drives. I'll probably do it later where what the average drive was, and I bet it's going to be like 11 point something plays, 6-minute drives all day long.
So you get a 38 to 21,
correct?
Kind of possession.
The Patriots, again, I hate to harken back to the Patriots because the Bills don't have the Super Bowl. This is what they used to do. They would just up and down the field, and it didn't feel special. And then all before you knew it, it was like 27-3. And it's like, holy cow, how'd that happen? Bills had that kind of thing going for them today, but specifically on this drive, they had a 4th and 1. And right before that, Ray Davis got a 1-yard gain, kind of got stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and they came back out on 4th and 1 and didn't go to like the tush push thing, and they went right back to Ray. But that could have been that was like a 43-yard field goal attempt, I think, at the time. And I could see against the Jets, Sean McDermott just taking the points on that one. Like, you got the stop, let's get the points. Our defense looks good. We'll get the ball back. But he showed, all right, we're going to take this game just like we take all of them. We're going to get aggressive and go get points. And you saw Aaron Glenn not do that in a number of situations and coach pretty cowardly a little bit today for a team that had their backs against the ropes, with really kind of nothing to lose. And I think it has kind of speaks to the growth that Sean McDermott's seen that Aaron Glenn hasn't seen yet as a coach. Like, that was an old Sean McDermott move where he would probably take the 3, 5, 6 years ago. And then now he knows he has Josh Allen and a good offense, and Ray Davis picks up that first. That was huge to me and kind of set a precedent of how aggressive they would be in this game.
Yeah, 100%. I thought it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
And, again, so real quick item from producer Colin. He found in the post-game presser, McDermott just did say Matt Milano got a little dinged. We'll learn what that means.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good enough that he was still on the sideline wearing his helmet, like not back in the locker room getting treatment or anything like that. And again, it's a lot easier to have some of those that conservative approach to things when you're up by 3 scores. But we'll be there. And I will say, Zach called it out here. I love Aaron Glenn. I don't like the fact that I think the Jets got a really good coach. They don't have the talent for it to matter yet.
Culture's changing there. Yeah.
But he is going to change the culture. He is a very talented, capable coach. I did think it was weird that he had multiple incredibly conservative surrender type decisions here where you don't have anything to lose. And I was a little bit shocked that he didn't go for it a couple times when he could have, and had some very odd decisions on when to kick, when to go for it on 4th down, when to punt.
But again, we'll see. That's what, like, coaching, there's some learning. Like, even really good coaches get into these situations and they've never. Sean McDermott used to do this stuff, and we would kill him for it on these post-game shows. He'll be fine there, but I think
he's a smart guy.
That it showed you, though, that having that veteran coach and not having to go through those learning curves that coaches also go through is still a benefit to the Bills right now.
Yeah, another nugget from Colin here. The Bills rushed for 212 yards in the first 3 quarters, which marked the Bills' third most in 3 quarters since 1991 and most since 2013. Their most was against the Chiefs with 217.
So that's good, right? Breaking.
Yeah, I think that is good. Yeah,
doing all-time things.
That's all-time most seems like an encouraging, positive statement.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun day.
Yeah, and again, come right back. The Jets have a chance to be able to get something going, and you have the Joey Bosa awesome peanut punch to knock out the ball. AJ Epinesa falls right on it, and this is like ultimate Bills drought era against the Patriots. Here we go again, feeling for the Jets. Like, hey, we had a good week 1. We're kind of feeling good about ourselves. We got a chance here. We're going to show these Patriots that we know what's going on. And then Brady, we would go 3 and out. Brady would go on a 12-play, 81-yard drive for a touchdown. We'd get the kickoff, and like Willie McGinnis or something would have a punch out on the first play, and then they'd have the ball again, and you're like, oh man, we suck again.
Week 2, it's nice out. We're still
that entire stadium just completely deflated and had no interest in anything. I will say, good on the Jets there for not letting us punch it in and immediately go up by two touchdowns. But of any of the stuff that was going on there, we did have a penalty. Even if Palmer was lined up offsides, apparently, if we had scored the last one. But good on their defense for at least bowing up a little bit to be able to get them in position, including the not letting Josh scramble on that red zone area where he's always so dangerous.
I thought Quincy Williams really hurt.
Yeah,
I can't believe Ty Johnson got up from that hit. We celebrate that Matt Milano hit. That Quincy Williams hit on the screen to Ty was, man, about as textbook of a powerful hit as it gets. Glad Ty got up from that one, man. But that one stood out to me. That screen game of the Bills a little shaky to start the year, both on like the wide receiver ones and the backfield ones. So they got to get better at that. You don't want to see somebody get hurt there. But yeah, you're right. Come out here, go up 10-0. I know the game was far from over at this point, and the Bills did play a little sloppy, but going up 10-0 early against a team like this, I thought you were going to at least win by 10. Felt like, okay, like let's coast through this one.
And that did happen here because right on the next drive, you have the Trey White run blitz on first down that they go right in and ends up being, a 5-yard loss. Then you get like the collective team sack where Bosa, Rousseau, Zion Logue, everybody collapses the pocket. They end up crediting Zion Logue and Gregory Rousseau for the sack there. Technically Zion Logue's first sack as an NFL player. So credit to him, being able to get in the books there is technically getting his first sack. Then
wait, did you skip? I think you skipped a series here because then we just go to the 10. Or did you skip through? Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
There was one more in between there. The fumble, they come back with the
because it was the Benford. You caught me at the Trey White one because I think Benford had to stop on this drive for the first one to blitz. Yeah. Okay.
So after the fumble, they come back with the quick stop, and then we get a little bit of a drive from the Jets, where they got a little bit going. You had Breece Hall got his only real positive play of the game, got a 12-yard run right off the bat, and at this point, you then get the 18-yard catch to Garrett Wilson. It was all right, okay, they're getting their bearings, they're kind of getting back into things here, and then you get that Christian Benford really sniffing out them trying to get sneaky with the end around. There knocks him back 10 yards. Yes. You then get the incompletion.
Interesting note about that. They get cross midfield on the 18-yarder from Wilson. Benford brings them back across midfield, obviously, and then there's an offsides, right? And so they go back further. I don't think they got back across midfield again to the 4th.
Correct. They did not cross midfield again until basically the give up drive.
For one play, they crossed midfield, lost 10 yards, and then didn't get back there for another 15 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah,
that's fun.
It's a tough way to go.
Tough day at the office for them. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. So they punt it back to the Bills. The Bills have another little something going. This is where we see Josh Allen get punched in the nose by Clemens. You have Trubisky come in. I actually am shocked, but love the fact that Brady knew that the Jets knew that we're obviously going to run the ball on Mitch Trubisky's first play. because Mitch Trubisky just came in. He's not ready to play. We're just going to hand it off. And I love the fact that he went play action, and Trubisky went directly at Sauce Gardner,
and this wasn't like
a beautiful ball to Josh Palmer.
It wasn't like a 2nd and 6 or something either. This is 3rd and 7, a big point. Where, like, again, I felt comfortable as a fan, up 10-0, but this game is by no means like this could be Mitch Trubisky gets a pick 6 in that moment, and everybody in that stadium is back. Right, this is a totally different game. So to put that on him shows it's also, again, a great moment that you get to get out of the way early in the year for Mitch Trubisky, that he can come in like that, throw a pass like that, but also that Brady trusts him to come out and throw in a spot like that, because that was still a really big spot in this game.
Yeah.
And then you end the first quarter on that.
Yeah, and again, like there was a, it's very early. What if something more serious is wrong with Josh? I think I thought pretty quickly that it was a broken nose. And I know he commented in the presser that
he can still breathe.
He can still breathe, so it's good. And I said I take a lot of pride in it, being able to withstand some of these things. And he is a big, strong farm boy, so not completely
that's why it made
shocked.
me sick to my stomach when he was like, the look in his eyes that something was wrong, panic. Yes, yeah. I honestly, this is how sickly, emotionally connected I am to this team, and it's probably unhealthy. I should probably get a therapist, but like I was sick to my stomach for a minute for like seeing him do that on the sidelines.
Yeah, him reacting to something like that meant it was something serious enough we needed to worry.
Yes, but he's good. He's fine.
Yeah, Josh is fine. He's always fine. Yeah. So again, they keep moving down. We get another snap. We then get Josh Allen back in the game.
You get Dawson Knox's first drop. I don't know if how many he'll be registered for in this game on the stat.
It should be at least 2. He should be credited with 2. At least 2 for sure. Yeah. So then, but we're already down like within reasonable range. Yeah. So we then get the holding penalty on Tony Adams, so it gives us the automatic first down. Here, we then have a 3-yard run and a couple incompletions, end up getting a 52-yarder for Matt Prater, which producer Colin has said gives Matt Prater the record for the most 52-plus yard field goals made. Did you look at the comment that Colin put in? Don't. Yeah. Oh, you already did. I was going to ask you to guess how many 50-yarders you think Matt Prater has made, because it's way more than I would have guessed.
Yes. No, I pay attention to Colin. He's the producer. That's my job to pay attention.
82nd 50-plus yard field goal. 82 50-yarders is insane.
Well, when you're as old as us and you've been playing in the NFL that long, I mean, longevity stats, they're real. No, it's good.
So many.
Honestly, not to like drift off into a side bar here. I'm ready to just put Bass on the IR and let him deal with whatever he's got to and go through this year with Prater. I'm cool with that. Let's do that.
Again, I'm not. This is not a now decision. Matt Prater is not the future of our kicker.
No.
Like this is, but like for this season, until Matt Prater, that it is now. I'll go as far as to say this is now no longer a Tyler Bass decision. Like Matt Prater is the kicker until he gives you reason not to be the kicker any longer.
I don't. Do you think Bean and McDermott feel that way? I hope that's
I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't want to feel that way because they want to support their guy. But I will say that I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes and be like, oh, yeah, they're going to go back to the same guy. You got to remember, they brought in competition last season and had a guy in. And if Tyler Bass lost that kicking competition in practice, he would have been cut and they would have put the other guy in, or he would have been game day inactive. Maybe contract wise, they couldn't have cut him. But he could have lost the job then. So this is not something where they've committed that, hey, it's Tyler Bass's job no matter what. They literally brought in competition and were ready to give his job to somebody else. So I think they have the luxury that no one knows the truth of, his exact health. You talked about it before, that back injuries are nothing to mess around with, and that when he's actually fully healthy.
What is his thing?
They haven't disclosed anything here. And now Matt Prater has given them the luxury that they don't have to worry about it or question it, and they can continue on. And until Matt Prater gives them a reason to go find out how healthy Tyler Bass is, I think they'll tell him, hey, Tyler, keep doing what you're doing, keep working on it. We're all right for right now. And that Matt Prater is the kicker for this team going forward.
Yeah, I would keep it that way. And it is nice to have Tyler Bass as the insurance for the year if he does get himself healthy enough to play and can come off and be part of this team, because that 41, like any day,
Yeah,
he
you never
could
know.
just
Never know. The cold, weird weather later
Sure.
on, they're more involved in some of there's way more kick returns, so they're more
Sure.
involved in some tackles now. Like, there's plenty of reasons that it's nice to have a great backup plan at kicker. And right now, Tyler Bass is my backup plan.
Yes, sir. All right, we're too distracted. That's my fault for getting us on the
Way to go.
sidebar. I appreciate you.
Well, good thing is I already talked about this drive, so we're in good shape.
Yeah.
So this is the one where
Yes.
they came in on the next one. Trey White opens up with the run blitz. Then they get the kind of team sack on Fields,
Yes.
and then the give up draw here, which was one of the first one. Again, it's 3rd and 25. I'm not going to give Aaron Glenn crap for that. What are you going to do on 3rd and 25? You're not going to convert. So they have the give up draw here. They punt it back to the Bills, and now it goes from dominant start for the Bills.
Yeah.
A couple decent holds for the team with back-to-back field goals that now they're feeling a little bit okay.
And I'll jump
the injury scare for Josh Allen, and now
I'll jump in here. Actually, before I jump in here, this is where I really started getting sick of Tony Romo already, because he was like really pounding that after that drive. He's like, the Jets are just beating themselves. And it's like, dude, really? Because I just saw the Bills sack and put them in a terrible position and force them to draw. I don't know that the Jets did anything particularly. Anyways, he was pissing me off at this point in the game, and I noted it. I swear to God, I was like, he's just lying to me. Why is he doing that? Come on, Tony.
I get it that announcers are invested in the idea of keeping people viewing, but that was intellectually dishonest. Like,
Correct.
He was being
They're not beating themselves.
They were not beating themselves. The Bills were beating them.
You can tell me it's a close game and that the Jets have a way back into this game and to stay tuned, but don't tell me that. But this takes me into my West Herr drive of the game and their second drive of the game in this one, because the offense was fantastic. So here, obviously, we talked to how we got here. The Bills get the ball back. This isn't technically the best drive. There was definitely multiple ones. I had yours as a one for consideration. There's even better drives, I think, in totality of the drive later on. But this one for me is special because I sent off a lot of texts to friends and even messages to people who I was argumentative against the idea of I don't want to pay running backs. Similar to you, like I don't ever. It doesn't matter who it is. Like I don't want to pay running backs. But you heard me on many post-game shows on this. Like if it was going to be James Cook is the guy that has made me considered it more, and if they can get him for where I'm comfortable, which they did, I'm good with it. Let's pay this running back. And for some people, they still didn't. I kept pulling up plays that why I said I can make him the first one that Bean signs, because he does some special things that just the other guys just don't do. Like, could we get a good back play out of a Ty Johnson, Ray Davis backfield? Yes, definitely.
Real quick, shout out to it was a guy on Twitter that called me out rightfully, because I made a lot of comments about how many of James Cook's touchdowns last year Ray Davis could have scored, and that I wasn't sure how much the drop off was from James Cook to Ray Davis. And I got to tell you, like, that was one of those plays where Ray Davis couldn't have made this play.
Not a lot of guys in the NFL it really can. This is an elite play. So anyways, we'll get to there. So it wasn't actually, like I said, this isn't a fantastic drive. This is a 5-play, 73-yard drive, 2 minutes and 55 seconds off the clock for this one. You get a 3-yard run on first. Coleman gets a first down. Actually, very consistent here. Keon gets another one. One thing I did note that I hate on this, and he's not the only one that does this, but players that make a catch and then like settle themselves up like 2 to 3 yards backwards to then go forward drives me nuts. He probably could have had a 15-16 yard catch instead. It's a 12. No big deal. Still get the first down there. Then Cook gets a 7-yard carry for first, and then he explodes for on 2nd and 3 for a 44-yard touchdown, and like takes contact and just like bounces off the contact, squirms around. Like he is just, I don't know. But I do know none of the other running backs on this team are doing the athletic things that I saw in that play and the vision that he presented out throughout this entire game. But he broke this game open. Josh Allen didn't have a great football game today. James Cook did have a great football game today, and be able to have that other thing on this offense where you can go up against a team like the Jets and just say, hey, we're going to have a James Cook game and do what he did, but then not just these long 12, 14, 3 yards at a time, but for him to have a 44-yard play that very few guys can make happen is just special. And I just wanted to highlight that this is why Brandon Beane came to that number and for the first time as the GM here was willing to pay a running back, because he does provide just a different dynamic that can flip a game at any point. And this one turned the lights off for the Jets, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the way that, I even wrote he slithers through contact. He doesn't. It's not like he's like Mike Allstotting his way through these broken tackles.
Mike Allstott somebody, not on this drive, but he put his helmet down
later on. But on this one, it didn't even make sense how he was staying up and how he was staying on his feet. And being able to take contact, but keep moving forward.
Jumped through. I'm watching now. He jumped through the contact.
Yeah. And then his ability to re-accelerate after contact is obviously faster than other guys, because he gets backed up to his top speed. And his top speed is not it's not Jonathan Taylor, it's not Devon Achane, but he ran a 4.43, he ran a good 40, but he gets up to his top speed really, really quickly. And, again, the slither through contact balance is just wild. It doesn't make sense. It's not the traditional idea of bouncing off of guys. He has this weird contortion that he moves himself through, but he doesn't go down. And it's just wild the way that they are able to do it. So great call on the Western drive of the game. And this is the one where now it's pretty much fully put away 20-0. Now it's weird that all right, there's still a lot of football left, more than half of the second quarter left, and this game's done.
Yeah, this felt boat racy, even though the offense didn't look boat racy up until this real explosive play. But this is okay, and I know we just saw it a week ago. A team's not out at this point, but the Jets up to this point in the game looked pretty toothless on both sides of the ball. So I didn't feel like they had it. They would have needed some real special plays to bounce their way to get back into this one at that point in the game.
Yeah. So here the Jets do have the closest thing they had to an answer back at some point here. You do get a solid kick return where Isaiah Davis ends up taking it back for 33 yards, gets to the 37. You then get a little bit of a scramble and a couple runs here right in a row. They get into Bills territory. The Bills kind of clamp down a little bit. And this is one where it was 4th and 3 and you're down 20-0. And I get there's something to the idea.
They at the 40? They must have been.
Yeah, I get you're the 32. 32. So it's it's a 50-yard field goal. It's not a gimme field goal, but the idea that you now have
just get on the board.
You're down 20-0 and it's 4th and 3. That's a very cowardly, hey, let's get on the board here, guys. Mm-hmm. They didn't shut us out. That's tough to match with the messages he's been giving in the locker room.
Well, even last week, being aggressive. They were aggressive just a week ago, and to come up non-aggressive in these moments in this game. Not that I don't think it flips the game, but to give your team something going in half.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. So here you have the Bills come back. They actually have the opposite of the Jets drive. They get their own big kick return. Codrington takes it out to the 41. That one gets called back on holding on Javon Solomon. So it takes them back to start back at their own 25. They still start moving their way down the field, stub their toe a couple times, get a holding call here. That brings it back again. They get a nice chunk play to Dalton Kincaid, but then get another penalty here, and that one rightfully called. Keon Coleman definitely pushed off on that conversion. Then they end up aren't able to get anything on 3rd and 14 and end up all of a sudden they've been dominant every drive, and we see a punter for the first time in an entire game. They hadn't needed to punt. I think they said it was in 8 drives, and since late in the Ravens game, Cameron Johnson comes out, punts it, pins him at the 13-yard line. It's 4th and 14. I'm not going to give him a hard time. 4th and 14 for midfield. You got to punt. It would have been like a 65-yard field goal, and you can't go for it on 4th and 14. So it was fine. And Cameron Johnston introduced himself to Bills Mafia.
He did. That is true. Yeah. I don't love punting. I wish we would never do it. Would they do it twice in this game?
Yeah, 2 times, 3 times technically.
3 times, yeah, there's the end there. I don't love it, but at the same time, you played pretty much flawlessly, even though it was with mistakes in terms of the results. You resulted well here throughout the first half. Having a punt doesn't kill me. Side note: Saquon Barkley just ripped through the Kansas City defense for a quick score here to end the first. So it's up 7-0 here to end the first. I hate to see that. Poor Kansas City.
Hate to see it.
Tough start.
Hate to see it. So I will say there was a moment here where I was like, don't let them get back into this game or feeling good about themselves.
I never felt that way. You had that?
A chance of 48 seconds. Again, we were up by a lot.
Yeah. And they couldn't complete forward passes.
Yeah, they couldn't do much of anything, but the only chance to be threatened here was a crazy scrambling game from Justin Fields. So when he ripped off the 27-yarder, there was a piece of me. He's like, don't let them get any ideas that they're going to be able to make this competitive.
Play in this game where he just caught. You don't want him in that spot where he's contained on a athletic QB run.
That's not a Joey Bosa thing. Like no defensive end is going to be out in wide open space against Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields.
Not
like
his athletic profile.
You have to use your teammates to keep them there, and that's why you play contain. And he went for the sack. I get it. Like he went for the sack and missed and let him scramble out there. But for the rest of his game, I'll give him a pass for another whiff there. But again, like you said, can't compete a forward pass. Justin Fields goes 0 for 3 on the next 3 plays, and they end up having to punt it back to the Bills here and end the half with a quick kneel down.
To complete a pass, though, 2 of those 3 plays were rushed pressures by Joey Bosa, and there was a stunt with Bosa and Bernard, and so the Bills did get he couldn't complete a pass, but we saw a week ago he can complete passes. The Bills threw a lot at the Jets, I think, in terms of coverage that they hadn't seen yet this year, and then with actually getting the pass rush home. And I think too, like we talked about in that pregame, the most probably impressive thing is we look at the Jets and think about how bad that offensive line has been in years past. This is a pretty good offensive line now. Like that's
they've actually made some legit investments.
Excited about offensively in that fan base, especially on the right and left tackle on the edges of that offensive line. And so this wasn't a slouch. These are first rounders that they're out there kind of throwing them around. So great signs to see. But one of the most interesting things of this first half, though, is what we saw a week ago, the first half on Sunday Night Football, and what Derrick Henry was able to do. The Bills came out and held in the first half Breece Hall to 7 carries, 16 yards, 2.3 yards per, and one of those was a 12-yard run. So you take that out, and he had 6 carries for 4 yards or something like that.
6 for 4 yards is not good. That's less than good.
6 yards, something like that.
Less than good.
So it wasn't a very good performance for their run game, which is the thing that I was terrified the most. And when in the matchup show, Greg, I was talking about how maybe even let Garrett Wilson give him 9 catches, 100 yards, I don't get in a touchdown, I don't care, but you can't let Breece Hall beat you, and especially in the way we saw that run defense answered the call here in that first half.
Absolutely. I'm gonna catch up on some of these awesome super chats here before we go to the second half. Our man, I'm gonna learn how to say his name at some point here. Theanopoulos. But he's here. He made it. Go Bills and cover 1. Our guy Cliff for the Bills, Bosa more than Von Miller. I will always defend the pre-ACL Von Miller was going to be good and was going to be a big contributor to the Bills. But yes, what we ended up with, we should be excited about what we're seeing.
I think that statement I'd be careful with, and I'd pump the brakes because Von Miller we were just having the same conversations up until Thanksgiving.
He had the game-ending sack against Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. We were super excited.
Super excited. And the fear about Bosa, while I will say I think this high end we saw today is higher than I anticipated. His high end still could be, which is giving me super excited. I'm pulling off the brakes. The concern still exists that can he do this into January, right? We want to make sure. Him healthy. Correct. And then it will absolutely blow the Von Miller out of the way. If he makes plays like this in the playoffs, this might be one of the best signings Brandon Beane's ever done in the offseason.
Yeah. I'll be making the case of why I want him back afterwards, which I didn't think was going to be in the cards.
For sure.
Jason here saying 3 insane endings, Giants, Dallas, Pats, Fins, and Bengals, Jags. Crazy ending to those games. The Bengals are going to be the worst 2-0 team I've ever seen. They deserve none of the wins that they've gotten. They're going to have 2 of them.
Yep.
Patton is always here for us, joking about there was a guy complaining when I posted the box score when they had 8 passing yards. It was just wild. Cliff again here saying I need that phone. You can go on eBay. You could find the Sports Illustrated football phone on eBay. You can go out there and be able to get yourself one. Zach Hilton, the whole third quarter for drive of the game. Jets only had 3 plays. Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment here. I'll explain. The Bills completely dominated and deflated the clock for the third, which I respect for a 1:00 start. Aaron and I were in here pretty early for the game here.
Yeah.
No, not news, but Benford is really good at football. Garrett Wilson's a really good receiver, and he never gave them a shot. Pat here saying Elijah Moore rush touchdown to the end was a great moment. I love pettiness. I love the fact that Joe Brady definitely tried to get himself in there. Cliff pointed out the second place for 50-yarders is 51. So he has 31 more 50-yarders than any other kicker. I will say Brandon Aubrey is going to catch him. Like if Brandon Aubrey keeps playing and stays healthy, he's going to end up with 150-yarders because that dude is a absolute monster. But here's saying Cook's feet are insane and vision, his capability are nuts. Fantastic.
It's true.
Insightful one here. Jimbo is good. I agree 100%. And
Proven.
Jason saying Cook has Le'Veon Bell skills, so unique, one of the rare skill sets. And that's actually, they're different in their, he was a bigger guy, but I like that comp and the idea of, I always remember watching Le'Veon Bell and thinking like how weird he looked compared to other running backs, and that it was he had that super weird patience that he would wait and then go. And, James doesn't do that, but it is striking visually how much different he looks than many other running backs. So I do love that comp.
Yeah. I love the patience that he does display though. And I thought there was only one play today. And I'm sure it's coming up in one of these where I noted that it was like that early James Cook where he wanted to bounce it out all the time and just like try to beat people with his speed. Doesn't really do that anymore. It is a lot of patience and finding his spot. And because, like you said, and the other super chat said about his feet. What is it?
Saying, does anybody else see flashes of Thurman sometimes when Cook runs? Thurman was one of those guys who wasn't big and was able to move so well. And again, Thurman was maybe one of the best pass catching running backs in NFL history. So maybe just as a runner, I could see that. I think there was a lot to go for Jimbo on the pass catching side. The Thurman was, he was Marshall Faulk before Marshall Faulk. He was LaDainian Tomlinson before LaDainian Tomlinson. So I won't. Jimbo isn't that style, but in just the rushing, I do think there's some similarities.
Yeah, maybe. It's been a long time since I watched Thurman play, but the way he's playing the game is at such a high level that it looks different. To your point, it looks different than the other guys, and I think he continuously shows us in that conversation we're having about paying guys, like there is a bit of a difference between him and the other guys. And even though the production could still be good and you could still dominate a team like the Jets, what he's able to do is different. And yeah, you look at this first half, I'm looking at my notes and it's Cook, more Cook. Like they just, when you have a lead and a run game like this, there might be nothing better in football.
Yeah. And if somebody, they were about the same. So James Cook's 5'11", 197. Thurman was 5'10", 200 pounds. So
okay,
1 inch and 3 pounds. Difference.
Built very different though. Like Thurman had thicker,
a little thicker
trunk.
Lower body.
Yeah.
James, he looks so.
He's like
that's what I always get when I say slither. James always gets me because he looks so.
He's like a lean
slender track. Track athlete kind of build. Yeah. It always surprises me when I see him. Yeah. Here's my entire summary of the third quarter of this game. Bills 11 plays for 64 yards and a field goal. Jets 3 and out. Bills 12 plays 79 yards and a touchdown. That was it. Like the Jets had one possession,
go through
1 3 and out, and the entire third quarter, the Bills dominated and had the ball for 13 of the 15 minutes in the third quarter. it was just absolutely dominant, just over and a 7-yard run, 8-yard run, 5-yard run. They did hit the 31-yarder to Elijah Moore. That was nice. Obviously, somebody in the Discord channel had brought it up. It was nice to see one of the special teams or so the training camp darlings kind of actually look like he might produce and contribute a little bit. Every year we fall in love with some new training camp darling or some late post draft signing that ends up not really mattering. And it looks like, hey, maybe Elijah Moore might actually contribute or be a part of this team and be there. And that was cool to see him not only get the jet sweep touchdown, but have the 31-yarder to be able to actually
we know they want that role to be a thing, and so all we need is between Moore and Samuel is for like one of them to always do that for 17 20 something games that you want to go on a run here, because they want that as part of it. And I think you did hit on something that it doesn't hurt that he was playing against the Jets to get him a little extra in a game like this. But I think this is we saw the handoff in the first game. Like I think they're going to build and continue to build off of that, especially if he's going to show success in that role. He's just going to continue to earn the touches in it, and it's going to be really shaky for Samuel to kind of ever earn getting back in there if Moore is just fine and available.
I don't want to just rehash my Prater Tyler Bass take, but kind of like
same
the same thing of like I honest to God, I'll use the same
These
logic.
are the same picture.
It's no longer up to Curtis Samuel. Like this is Elijah Moore's job. And if he gives you a reason to need to go to Curtis Samuel, you do that.
Yeah.
But
again,
this
great
is
depth
Elijah Moore's job.
Having Tyler Bass and Curtis Samuel as like, these things aren't working anymore. We're late in the season. Let's make a switch. Not a bad
problem. We need to go back to those things, great. But this is now Elijah Moore's job, and Curtis will let you know if we need you.
Yes. The Eagles defense, breaking news, is still terrorizing Patrick Mahomes since early in the start of the year.
Large humans land on Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. It's a shame. I hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it. So I will say in that 1 3-and-out punt for the Jets in the third quarter, the one opportunity they had, I think somebody in the chat called it out here. It was, it's at your own 28. That's not a crazy decision to punt, but it was 4th and a short one.
It was a short one.
It was 4th
and Benford on that 3rd and 3 though.
Yeah,
stop him short of that. It was a great play by Benford.
Big time one on the pass to Breece Hall. A lot of guys fall forward there, and that was a great one. And then Terrell Bernard helped come clean up after the big stick by Christian Benford. But like that's one where it's 4th down and 2 feet, and your team's down 23 to 3. Like you're down 20 points,
and the clock's ticking.
Like again, I don't want to be hypocritical here. I'm a big fan of Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a good coach. I just think you have to be careful in the message that you're sharing with these guys in the locker room, and then matching that with your decision making. I think you just have to be careful not to kind of talk out of both sides of your mouth when those things come up. And I think that again, it's on your own 28. That's not a crazy automatic go for it position. But when you're down 23 to 3 and it's 4th and less than a yard anywhere on the field, I think that, here, Tank Ninja saying when you're down 20 to nothing to 20 to 3, like you just had a really nice game in the first week and gave yourself a real shot to look like you might have a little something going here. And now all of a sudden you're 0-2 and things are unraveling.
The big problem there is you had a really good game and built momentum, built some grace with your fan base, but you lost. And so you didn't give yourself, like, that's cool. And we can ride those vibes, but going 0-2, we, as Bills fans who started slow many years when we thought we were going to make the playoffs, going 0-2 early in the year, unless you have a great team that can go on some kind of run, the statistics of teams that go 0-2 and then make the playoffs. So you really are playing for your season at this point in the game. Whether or not that plays out over all the games, they could still go on a run and be a wild card team here, but they would be fighting against the data at that point of having an 0-2 start. So to me, it's almost like your season's on the line, not trying to be hyperbolic there. And it's almost begging you to go for it. So like a golf analogy, they always say, don't hit to the pin, right? Like don't attack the pin. This one, I feel like you're close enough here to attack the pin a little bit because the game's over. If the Bills score again, you're statistically like I was watching that the probability chart go up and up, and I think at this point you're like in the 90s already. So like this is your last clinging to any type of help, and you punted it away. So it doesn't look great, but you said, I mean, the rookie coach is going to have these ones where he's going to watch back and look at this and probably have to own it in front of his team to match that messaging, like you said.
Yes, that's a great call.
But Sean McDermott's gone through this. Andy Reid had gone through this, but like the greatest coaches of all time have gone through this. I don't think for Jets fans out there, if any of them are listening to us, which I would not, you must hate yourself if you're listening to this. I wouldn't give up on them yet. This is, I think the culture matters more than these results these first 2 weeks.
100%. Still a big fan. I'm still a full supporter.
Same.
I'm glad that he doesn't have a quarterback.
Correct.
But if he
I'm
does,
not ready for them to turn it around yet.
No.
Yeah.
So along those lines, this is the last drive I'm going to talk about here because you can't make me talk about the fourth quarter.
I'm already over. I'm done. But we can talk about
they do after that punt. The Bills come back and completely put this away. 12 plays, 79 yards. Again, just a meticulous, easy drive down the field. Couple quick completions. You get the one good one to Palmer for 15 yards. Keep moving your way down the field. You get another drop from Dawson Knox on 3rd and 1. The Bills, who were up by 23-3 here, go for it on 4th down after their guy drops the ball. We convert it. Josh runs for 7 yards plus has a holding penalty there. Then you get a nice James Cook run. We did get a quick fumble there, a little quick scare. Good on Spencer Brown jumping on it. But then 4-yard run, 6-yard run, and then the Elijah Moore Petty touchdown to be able to kind of rub it in. And boom, it's 30-3. There's technically the fourth quarter to go here, and no one cares. Literally, like, I remember thinking, oh my God, there's so much more football for the Jets to have to sit through here. I can't believe there's this much football left at that point because the entire fourth quarter was still left.
Yes. It's fun watching with little kids that don't fully get like the game that they're watching, because my oldest is just sitting there hobbling down wings, just going crazy on some wings. And he saw when the Jets scored to go to 10, he was like, the Jets are doing better. He said, just like in the nice, and I was like, okay. He's like, well, they got a lot more points than they did.
Most innocent.
Yeah, they had 3. Now they have 10.
That's
and
better,
he kind of looks
Dad.
at me like, that's better. That's actually a lot better. It's like, that's
so
like the
cute.
only fun of watching a game at this point. Like I love the Bills, but I'm not taking notes. My notes end after that touchdown drive, and then the Bills defensive drive to force the Jets to punt. My notes end. I love the Bills. I'll go back and watch it on the other stuff. I came in and started setting up the show and texting and sending memes and stuff like that. That's all I did for the last 15 minutes of gameplay.
So I'll give you a choice. Should we go through the remaining 5 drives in the box score, or should we have producer Colin come up and just
let's go watch more football?
blow us away with amazing statistics and quiz questions?
Let's do this, and then let's go watch some good football.
Yeah. Colin, I read through a couple of them. Share some of the ridiculous stats that the Bills accomplished in this game.
Okay, this is one of my favorites because it's so obscure, but the Bills have held the Jets without a touchdown on their opening drive in the last 24 meetings, which is the longest active streak in the NFL.
That's delightful.
That's awesome.
There was another one with 24 involved that really was shocking here with Mr. Justin Fields.
Yes, Justin Fields is now 0-24 as a starter when their opponent scores more than 20 points in a game.
That's not good. That's not good. If your defense doesn't hold the team to 20 points or less, you're 0-24. And I will say, Russell Wilson is not good, although he did have some pretty moonballs today. There's a reason that Mike Tomlin went to him last year when I think Justin Fields was 4-2, and a lot of fans were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you take him out when he's won 4 games." This is why he didn't win those games. The Steelers' defense won those games, and Tomlin knew it.
I feel like it's kind of proof that of what I say, or that I think he's like a Tyrod.
Yeah. Yes.
Like
I think he'll be a high-end backup and should hang around in the league. As an example, I would love to have him as our backup to Josh Allen.
Yeah,
I think he'd be an awesome backup to Josh Allen, that if you needed a guy to come in for a pinch and you have a really good team and a good defense around him, he can keep the ship afloat.
Put a ball downfield, make some explosives, get some plays with his legs. But yeah, he's not going to win you 12 games.
Aaron, who had more passing yards today, Justin Fields or Mitch Trubisky?
Mitch Trubisky, for sure. Yeah,
Trubisky had it. Yeah, Trubisky had it on the one play. More than Fields had all day.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't forward pass the ball, the Jets. They couldn't.
All right,
it was watching a varsity versus JV team today.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to turn this one into a trivia question for you guys because it's a player that I've never heard of before, so you can take that as a hint.
Okay.
The last Bills player before James Cook, who just accomplished this today, to score a rushing touchdown in 6 straight games.
So I'm guessing it's a long time ago. If you're saying you never heard from, not that you're like an old guy, but I'm guessing it's not like a recent.
And Colin's smart enough that I'm going to guess he's heard of Cookie Gilchrist, because that probably would have been my guess. Like, but Colin's a smart enough guy.
His dad's a good dad. He knows who Cookie Gilchrist is.
I'm going to go. This is like the.
It might not be as old as we're thinking. I'm trying to.
I mean, Antoine Smith didn't do that or something, did he?
No, it wasn't.
It's not Antoine Smith. I know Antoine Smith.
How old are we talking here? Can you at least give us a hint of like generationally Bills?
Yeah, so this guy did it in 1988.
88. Oh, so that would have been
not Kenneth Davis.
No, Bell? Wasn't there running back like Bell?
Oh, Rob Riddick.
It is Rob Riddick.
See, he was Greg's old. Greg is
shut up.
Greg, it was remembering things in 1988.
1 yard touchdown plunges. That was it. Like, he was just a 1 yard touchdown plunge guy. He like Butch Roll had a stretch during there where all he did was catch short touchdowns. Rob Riddick had a stretch where he just punched in short touchdowns, and then Pete Metzler's kind of became the guy later on during the Super Bowl stretch.
What Jalen
Rob
Hurts
Riddick,
is.
James Cook, and Rob Riddick. Yeah, who would have thought?
All time great.
He had 12 in 1988. I had to go back and
12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns.
Yeah. He was a 9th round pick, which was a thing back in 1988.
That's when you know it's old, is when you were drafted in a part of the draft that no longer exists in the NFL now.
Those would have been Mathis's guys, the 9th round guys.
Steve Mathis loved the 9th round of the draft. Loved big 9th round guy.
88.
Big 9th round guy.
Yeah.
All right, Colin, appreciate you very, very much, man. This is a ton of fun. The chat was amazing here today. You guys are great. Help us out. Give us a like, give us a rating, give us a review. After you're done, come back in and leave a comment in the comments. That's how the algorithm works. That's how you let people know about the show. Cliff saying Riddick stole Thurman's touchdowns his rookie year. He was the original touchdown vulture back then, stealing Thurman's touchdowns his rookie year, and he would punch him in from there. But appreciate you guys very, very much. On behalf of the team here at Cover One, we can't say thank you enough to our amazing sponsor, Southern Tier Brewing Company and William Mattar Law Offices. You guys know the slogan, hurt in a car, call William Mattar, 844-444-4444. On behalf of fantastic producer Colin Ritchie and my wonderful partner in crime, Aaron Quinn, I am Greg Tompsett. You've been listening to Cover One Buffalo, and we are